I'm going to show you how to record a situation where someone has donated materials that you want to put into inventory. This may happen because you're going to sell these materials, certainly happens, or it may be something that for some reason you want to track for any reason that it's an inventory. I've decided to use garden gnomes as an example. So the first thing that I do is I create a general ledger account for in-kind donations. I go to my chart of accounts. I've already created this. Let's see if I can find it quickly. There we are, in-kind donations. Double click. It has got an account type. As an account type of income, a detail type of nonprofit income. Name I chose was in-kind donations. You're more than welcome to change this to whatever you wish. And the description. Always put a description in. The other thing you're going to do, that's the first step. Now you need to create an item, or a product and service is what it's called in QuickBooks Online. We go here, we go to, we go to the gear, and then we go to products and services under lists. I've already created this. So I'm going to search for garden gnomes. Here's my garden gnomes. Double click to open it up. So here I've called it garden gnomes. I did not assign it to a category. You could do that if you wished. We can talk about categories later. My quantity on hand started out as 0. I've tested this once, so I have a quantity on hand of 5. There's no reorder point. Inventory asset account, I just used inventory asset. Obviously you can change this. I recommend you do not. Please leave it as default. You can play around with it if you want, but the more complex you make this, the tougher it is, and probably the less information you have. You add the description. I called it Sporty Garden Gnome. This is what will show up on any sales invoices if we were to sell this as a product. I said, hey, it's worth $100 as a sales price. This is different than what we value it. If I make any income, it goes to a sales account. I've said that it's taxable. If we sell it, we're going to charge sales tax on it. Purchasing, I just called it garden gnomes. And I said that the cost was $50 a gnome. That's my estimated value. This is important because this is what's going to be put into inventory, and it's how you're going to record it as a donation. I left the expense account alone, cost of goods sold. You could change that if you wished. I have had folks say that they want to have a separate cost of goods sold account for donated goods. Fine. Again, keep it simple. And then we simply close it. Now the way we process these, the first thing that happens is someone gives you this material, go to the plus sign, go to other, go to inventory quantity adjustment. After all, that is what we're doing, is adjusting our quantity. So transaction type. The date, when they donated to you. The default here is inventory shrinkage, but what we want is in-kind. There we are, in-kind donations. I've already created the general ledger account. The product is garden gnomes. And you'll see Sporty Garden Gnome was what I had in my description. I currently have 5 on hand. The change in quantity, I could either change the quantity here or type in the new quantity here. So I can say I have added 15 garden gnomes. Oops, I don't think I want to put a plus sign there. If I wanted to do, well, so that gives me 15 new garden gnomes. My new quantity is 20. I've saved it and closed it. It'll show on my income statement as an increase of 15 garden gnomes times, what did I say, $50 for charitable donations, and it'll increase my inventory on my balance sheet. Now you're going to want to do one of two things. If you sell these, you'd simply create a customer or donor invoice, customer or donor sales receipt. Let's just do sales receipt very quickly. Donor name, customer name in this particular case, the date, payment method, and so forth. And then we simply select Garden Gnomes. Here's my sporty garden gnome description that populates. How many am I selling? I am selling 10. I'm selling them at $100. If you remember, that was my sales price, and I am charging tax on this. Then I just save and send, and it will send an invoice or a receipt, rather, in this case, because it's a sales receipt, to whoever the customer or donor's invoice address is. Let's get out of here. Sometimes you will use this internally. In other words, you may very well get, I don't know, 50 cases of office copy paper, and you want to track it and show when you've used it. Then you simply go back up to that inventory quantity adjustment. It's not going to be inventory shrinkage. It's going to be something else because you have an expense. In my example, let's say it's an office expense. So I select the office expense account. I'm still using Garden Gnomes because that's what's there. Changing quantity, -5. I don't know, I guess I distributed 5 of them around the office. I'm going to save it. And so the adjustment of 5 has been saved, and I have decreased the amount in inventory by 5. I have also posted that to office expenses in this case. Obviously, you'd use whatever the appropriate expense account would be. That's it. Thank you very much.